Hello Peculiars! Today I'll be discussing 5 ways to decorate with eggs and a spring equinox ritual for Ostara. If you'd like to know more detailed information, along with correspondences, history, journaling prompts, celebration ideas, and a guided meditation, I'll put a few links below. And as always, you can connect with more Peculiars on Facebook through the link below as well. All right, let's get started. A simple yet beautiful way to use an egg is to write your intentions or gratitude on the shell of a raw egg, then plant beneath a new seedling. As the seedling grows, it will help your intentions come to fruition and bloom. Always use positive statements like, "I am creating my dreams," and avoid negative words like, "I will not let my past define me." I love using raw eggs beneath my tomato plants, and they love the calcium. I use a spoon to slightly crack them, which helps them decompose faster and makes it easier for the plant to access the nutrients and your intentions. You'll need a few raw eggs, a tool to poke a hole. I used a pottery tool and a Dremel, and then also tape. To begin, you'll need to blow out the egg yolk and whites. You can be extra about it and use a Dremel like my husband and I did, or you can simply use a needle or toothpick to poke small holes in the top and bottom. If you're using a needle or toothpick, try placing tape on both ends of the egg to help avoid cracking. Hold your fingers over both ends and shake the egg to help loosen the membrane. Then, holding the egg over a bowl, blow through one end. Keep blowing until the egg is empty. Rinse under warm water and let dry. Now the fun begins. Using Mod Podge or something similar, decorate with any bits or bobs you'd like. You can use scrapbooking paper, pages from old books, magazine pages, printed images from online, washi tape, buttons, or dried leaves or herbs and flowers. You can also feel free to paint them. The options are endless. You can see that I started out by using a paintbrush to apply the Mod Podge, but as it kind of went along, I ended up just using my fingers, so don't be afraid to get a little messy. I also found it helpful to use smaller bits of paper because it was easier to adhere it to the egg. Also, it was easier to work with thin paper, like old book pages versus the heavier magazine photo paper. This beautiful polka dot print is actually wrapping paper from the dollar store, and it worked really well. You can use these in centerpieces, wreaths, or add them to your sacred space or altar. Since all the insides have been blown out, you can keep these eggs for years if you store them properly. This egg is actually dedicated to my mom, who loves rhododendrons, and she is currently homesick with coronavirus. So I hope she feels better soon and I hope she likes her egg. Here are a few of my favorites that I've finished. I hope they give you a little bit of inspiration to make your own. This is so versatile, and you can use it as a simple vignette, tablescape, in your sacred space, or on your altar. Simply save a few eggshells, rinse them, and let them dry. Remove tea lights from their metal base and place them directly into the eggshell. Then get creative and add dried florals, herbs, crystals, or any item you've collected on a nature walk. It goes without saying, but don't leave these flames unattended, especially next to dried flowers and herbs. Instead of buying a bunch of containers for your seeds, simply place them in eggshells. It's a wonderful way to get your garden started early indoors. Feel free to add intentions to the shell if you'd like. It's still a bit too early for me to plant these, but you get the idea. These are special wildflower seeds my sister-in-law gave me to celebrate the birth of my niece. I can't wait to grow them in my garden. To dye my eggs, I wanted to use ingredients I knew would work really well, like beets and blueberries, but then I also wanted to experiment. So I tested out lavender, and I also tested out strawberries mixed with curry. This project can get pretty messy, and some of these can actually stain your clothes, so I would not wear anything that you actually care about. Place each item you'd like to use as a natural dye into its own pot of boiling water. I don't measure very well, but the pot should be roughly half full with your dye item of choice, and allow it to simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. Let cool. Add the mesh strainer to the mason jar and pour in the dye. Add approximately 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. I forgot to film myself doing that, but I did add white vinegar. If you use mason jars like I did, I would recommend using the quart size, which is 32 ounces, and the wide mouth. It makes it a lot easier to pull your eggs in and out of the jar. If you'd like to add a botanical print, place your flower or leaf flat against the hard-boiled egg and wrap as tightly as possible with the cheesecloth. Tie off with a rubber band or string, making sure the flower won't move. Place eggs into the dye and soak. For a darker dye, place in the fridge overnight. You can also try layering colors by placing them into different colored dyes. Feel free to get creative. Once the eggs finish soaking, they will have a slight film on them. Don't rinse off for a unique and textured look. Allow them to air dry undisturbed. Happy spring equinox, peculiars, and remember, as always,